Okay, okay, yeah, oh yeah, I get it. You guys want the tutorial? Alright, sure. Yeah, I'm making it, fine. That's what this video is, I'll make a tutorial, okay? So calm down, stop screaming on my comments, this is what you wanted. So, well, before we start, I must remind you that this is not a tutorial on the basic of twinning. It is a tutorial on how to do HipSway, so yes, I expect you silly little cats already have a rig for your OC. All the, you know, many different body parts parented to each other, like you can move it around and stuff. If you don't have or know how to make a rig, well, that sounds like a you problem. I'm just kidding, I'll put a link on someone's video in the description. Shout out to them. I appreciate it. I'm too lazy to make an actual tutorial to do twinning, so I'm only making tutorial on HipSway because that's what you guys asked for. So if you want to learn the basic of twinning, you can just check down below and stuff. Yeah, in Alight Motion. Oh yeah, did I mention this tutorial requires Alight Motion? Anyway, let's put that aside and get ready for editing. Before we go and tween our OC to do HipSways, I wanted to teach you cats about an effect called Oscillate and Swing. So let's start with Oscillate. If you press on any layer and press effect, add effect, there will be many effects to choose from. But we're here for one thing. Go to search bar and search up the Oscillate, or go to the section right here and press Oscillate. Now that Oscillate effect have been added to your layer, press it to see what you can edit in it. First of all, let's check on the first row of Oscillate editor. Even though we don't necessarily need to tinker with these, I'm explaining them anyway. We have 3 different directions. It is basically the direction on how it moves. Now, these moves are rather specific. Let me explain. Let's make this block as an example for the Oscillate effect. Normally, it is set on an angle. Angle is the normal Oscillate setting, which it moves normally side to side. Depth is basically like a zoom in and zoom out motion. And orbit, yeah, it orbits. Now that we clear that out, let's check the next one. Angle. Well, this is literally the thing to make it where you want it to go. For example, 0 degrees will make the layer goes right and left, so 90 degrees goes up and down. Simple. Next up, frequency. This thing is quite important if you wanted to fit a beat of a song to the movement of the hips, because this row took care on how fast the movement of an oscillate is. The higher the frequency, the faster it goes. For example, my rabbit hole video is using around 1.47 Hz. This may vary depending on the song that you use. Alrighty, next on the line, magnitude. Briefly, this row takes care on how far your movement wants to go. The higher the magnitude, the further you sway or move. Whoa. Simple. Yeah. Weight basically doesn't matter, but, you know, for your information, it's a row to adjust animation easing. Sine easing will look smooth like this, meanwhile triangle easing will look like as if someone who has never animated in their entire life tried to animate for the first time ever. It moves weird. So I suggest not to do anything with it. Just keep it on easing. No, sine, maybe, my bad. So I suggest not to do anything with it. Just keep it on sine, please. Now, face. This one is really important to make things look smooth. It doesn't look like much, but it's the key for smooth and unique movement. It's a little hard to explain, so I'll use an example. Say, this block is an oscillate effect. It will start from the middle, to the right, then to the left, and then goes back right to where it originally is, which is the middle. Meanwhile, if I crank the face to 25, the box will start from the right to the left, and then goes back to the right. If it is 75, however, it goes from left to the right, and then goes back to the left. I don't suggest you remember those numbers because, well, most of the time you would just randomly put a number. And it will look just fine. Everything just needs a little bit of randomness in them, you know, just a little surprise. That concludes all the settings on Oscillate. Now let's move on to Swing. To find it, again, just search it up or find it in this section and press Swing. Inside the Swing editor, we have seen some familiar settings like frequency, phase, and wave, so we can skip those rows. But other than those settings, we can find angle 1 and angle 2. It's basically how far it will swing. Doesn't really need much explanation, do we? The box will swing from angle 1 to angle 2 and then back to angle 1 following where your pivot point is. Now with that aside, here's the part where you will actually learn how to properly do hip sways with all of the effects I just told you. Alright, let's start with your rig. Go scroll down until you can find your body part. I know the pivot point for your body is near the hips, but if you decided to do a hip sway, then we shall change that. Put your pivot points for the body on the neck. Now, after that's done, go to effect and we will start with the swing effect. Since swing is literally based for hip swaying, change angle 1 and angle 2 to how far you want the hips to go. Both angles need to have the same input or not, because this depends on your preferences. For example, my rabbit hole video has an angle of 8 on angle 1 and -8 on angle 2. Then change your frequency to your preference speed and then you'll get this. Yeah.
Kuna, how do you make the legs stick to the floor?
We chop them legs off, lads! Okay. So, first of all, if you're not planning on lifting up the legs at all, you can change the pivot point from the thigh from up here to down here. Same goes for the foot. After that's done, instead of parenting the legs onto the thigh and the thigh onto the torso, we will need to unparent the thigh from the torso. And then we also need to change the parents for the legs. So instead of the leg parented to the thigh should be parented to the leg. So this will make the thigh follow the rotation of the leg. Make sure when you rotate the leg, the thigh will follow like how it's shown here. A way to unparent it, go find your leg layer, press this up here, and press none. And once we go back, press the thigh, press this up here again, and parent it to the leg by pressing the leg layer up here. And that should have done it. Give both thighs and foot the same effect, which is swing, and put it on the same frequency as the body. However, the angles should differ. Again, this needs some experiments, so you really need to try and fiddle with it yourself. Although, if you want, here's my setting for Also, if your head look like this, then don't forget to put a swing effect on it too. Same frequency, but different angles. It should be flipped too. What does it mean by that? Well, if the torso's angle 1 is positive and angle 2 is negative, then on the head swing, angle 1 should be negative and angle 2 should be positive. Now, if everything is done correctly, you should get something like this. Yippee! Congratulations! You have made a fixed hip sway! Now, if you ask,
But how to this and how to do this?
okay, here's where another effect comes in, which I already told you before. What else if it isn't Oscillate? So we don't have to focus on the legs anymore, since this effect shall only be put on the torso. This Oscillate effect is the one that can change this boring side-to-side sway into something so much more, which you already saw in one of my videos, which is this one. Link in the description. Oh, no, I'm not gonna put it in the description actually, unless. Alright, simply add Oscillate to it. Now we actually need 2 Oscillate effects on the torso. One will take care of moving side to side, and the other will move up and down. Like how I told you before, press the torso, effects, go and search up Oscillate, or you can just go here and click on Oscillate too, that works. After you add it to Oscillate, let's go and press on one of them. This one shall be going side to side. Thus, we will change the angle to 0 degree. And then, we also need to change the magnitude to however far you want the torso to move. This will break the leg position, so you might want to fix it. And change the angle on the legs a bit more to fit with the torso. So let's do some homework. Yay, I love math. I lied, I don't. Fuck math. Check up your swing frequency of the torso. For example, mine is 2.94 Hz, and we need to divide it by 2, and so we will get 1.47 Hz. Once you get that number that you divide by 2, put that number on the Oscillate with the angle 0.0 degree. And now you're finished with the Oscillate. Go back to the effects and press the eye icon on the Oscillate effect that you haven't edited. If we edited this Oscillate up here, that means we press the eye on this one. This will hide the effect as if the effect is not there at all. And now you can check the result you just created. You can barely see the difference. But just pay attention to the neck to see what's different. It's like moving a little way more, I guess. Alrighty, if you're happy with your side-to-side sway, let's move on to the other Oscillate. Open up the eye, so you can see the effect. And let's get to editing this effect. First of all, change the angle to 90 degree, and then the frequency the same as the swing effect, which was 2.94 Hz. Change your magnitude to your liking, mine will be 15. Then here's the big part. Face. This will change the outcome of your hip sway movement. The most noticeable movement of a hip sway that I have found are 0, 30, 50, 65, and 90 degrees. Just keep changing it to your liking, depends on how you want your hips to move. And then, congratulations, you have done and made a hip sway! Oh my god, I'm so tired. Yeah, you're finally finished. Good job. I'm proud of you, my kittens and your cats. Yeah. Pat. Good job. Good girl. Or good boy, I don't know. Hey, most of my viewers are girl, man, so I don't want to do a proper outro, man. God damn. So tired. Freaking hell. Have fun with your hips right now. Goodbye. Duh.